Galala Wahwalla Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahasham Akakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers on the four corners of this earth, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, risking their lives more now so than ever to do so. But man, I have to say, with another impromptu video, really. Right now, our brother shared this article yesterday. So we go run through it, get some precepts. Basically foretelling or describing the situation biblically, because even the disciples themselves asked, Yahushai, what will be the sign of the coming? And according to Revelation, the spirit Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So he gave them signs at the times to look for, and we see in the prophecies unfolding simultaneously, one after the other, so on and so forth. Right? So when we get to it, it says Venezuela announces big military deployment to counter U.S. presence. Venezuela on Tuesday announced what it called a major nationwide military deployment to counter the U.S. naval presence off its coast. Washington is carrying out a military campaign in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, deploying naval and air forces it says are aimed to curbing drug trafficking. But the operation has sparked fears in Caracas that the ouster of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is the ultimate U.S. goal. Washington's forces have carried out strikes on at least 20 vessels in international waters since early September, killing at least 76 people according to U.S. figures. But the United States has yet released evidence that the vessels were used to smuggle drugs or posed a threat to the country. Venezuelan Defense Ministry issued a statement Tuesday announcing a massive deployment of land, sea, air, river, and missile forces, as well as civilian militia. VTV, the state TV channel, broadcast footage of military leaders giving speeches in several states. These high-profile government announcements are common in Venezuela these days, but they do not necessarily lead to visible military deployments on the ground. Last week, U.S. President Donald Trump played down the prospect of going to war with Venezuela, but he said Maduro's days were numbered. The United States has also ordered the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group to Latin America, deployed F-35 stealth warplanes to Puerto Rico, and currently has 6 U.S. Navy ships in the Caribbean as part of what it calls counter-narcotics efforts. Now, for the ones that did, the research, the homework, the ones who not at sleep, the ones who not folding the arms, we know that Venezuela is one of the largest, not to pay it, they are the largest oil reserve on the planet right now. Right, they are number one when it comes to oil fields, basically. Right? And we know right now oil is what? Oil is liquid gold, as they just call it. Right, so I'm going to precept here. First thing come to mind. It says Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but guardeth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Now, what it's saying here is that, hey, be proud, right? And as the article say, Caracas, the citizens of Caracas in fear because they know that this had nothing to do with no drug trafficking. This is more to do with taking over the oil reserves, having it for themselves, right? And we know how proud the Edomites are. They want to show off their might, and that is exactly what they're doing, right? A brother also sent in the group chat that Russia supplied Venezuela with some basically anti-air missiles, So I also do a video on that as well. maybe tonight or so on and so forth, right? What if the spirit lead? So yeah, so what going on here exactly is this, right? Because we have known that America was one of the most prominent militaries on the earth for a while now. And what's taking place is basically this year 12, 3, and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? That is what going on. The weak saying they're strong. So they mobilizing the military, they organizing the arms, so on and so forth, to what to defend themselves against the oppressor. All right. Regardless of if it's about drugs or whatever the case may be, there are ways to go about it. And just like the small hats doing to Gaza, Hezbollah, so on and so forth, they basically slaughtering them. 20 vessels, 76 people. Two of those 76 are Trinidadian, mind you, that I know of, right? Because there was an article released that two Trinidadians from the more or less North Coast was on a boat that was striked, right? Could be more, I don't know, but there's at least two, right? The Prime Minister did not address the matter at all. Um, so yeah, I mean the advantage in the Northern Kingdom, basically, and they're not standing for it. The Northern Kingdom saying, hey, we yes, we consider weak, but look, we strong now. We allied with stronger ones, with mighty men of the earth, same way, and they come into our aid, right? Just last night, I saw, not last night, if yesterday, if not last night, I saw a video with U.S. soldier, basically a Marine or whatever, one of them. And he was saying, the interviewer asked him, you think the US is ready for a war in China, for a war with China? Man said China will crush the US. There will be no more US. You understand? And he don't think people understand the position the US will be in if China does decide to attack them. All right? He says the US people not ready to live in the Stone Age again. That's what he said. I'll see if I could get that video and do a video on that particular one at some other time as well, as long as the spirit permit. All right. Now the thing is, the China has surpassed them economically. They produce I believe is they produce more air carriers, basically warships a year than America. Right? So like every year they just produce at least, I forget the numbers the man called, but he was going statistical, going looking at it from a logical statistical standpoint, saying, hey, these people produce warships by the tens a year, at least 10 a year or something like that. The US produce how much? Maybe one, if so much. You understand? But they just outsource the artillery and so on and so forth. So I mean, the buying from people, it's not to say they're making it like how China making it. So what he's saying is economically they better than us. The military is more up to date than ours. Like the equipment and so on, they're more advanced than ours. How could we possibly win a war with them? You understand? So now Venezuela is allied with China and Russia, right? We know that. So the weak is basically saying, hey, I am strong now. You know? I believe is Isaiah 14 and 13. 14 and 14. Alright. Isaiah 14 and 13, it says, for thou hast said, I will said in thine heart, so okay, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of power. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, to thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden underfoot. You understand? Basically, that is the point was in verse 16. You understand? They that say, shall not really look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And that is what happened because the weak are strong now. You know? So now the opposition, being Venezuela, could rebel. They're preparing for a rebellion against the powers that be being Edom. You know? And they could bring it to them. They could stand a very viable chance against the US. You know what I mean? And quell the pride of them. You know? This could be very drastic change a tide for on a global scale, is what I mean to say. Right? Because now that the weak are strong, right, and Edom, you saw Edom is trying to maintain power, they're running out of their wits. Revelation 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. That is basically what it is. They're trying to accomplish every agenda they set out in a timely manner, in a speedy manner, with haste. Is how they operating, because what they know that they have a short time. The I believe next year is the 250th year of America being America. And 250 years is normally the how long a era does last, or a rulership does last. So they know, hey, this is the end. You know, this is the end. Yeah, they say next year is the 250th. I forget, but yeah, this is the end. This is the end of them as a rulership, as a power. The next rulership, even though, you know what I mean, if they go up against the BRICS nations, they're going to lose. You know, even though they're going to lose, next rulership is always by meaning what? Yahushua with the Hebrew Israelites, they're the next rulership to come. Even though all of them have it in their day, we take them or we go rule, not knowing. It's not no rulership after Yahushua. Yahushua will come and inherit the earth. The earth really belongs to them. You understand? You will come and set the place alright, set the people alright, rather. You understand? So I hope it was edifying, I hope it was eye-opening to the elect and anybody who watch. To the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yeshai Hashem Kakadash. Until next time, Shalom.